The worst time to plan your incident response is during an incident. Organizations that discover this truth the hard way, with a ransomware attack in progress, no defined roles, no communication plan, and no tested procedures, pay a far higher price than those that invested in preparation before the crisis arrived. Control A.5.24 of ISO 27001/2022 requires organizations to plan and prepare for information security incident management in advance, establishing the structures, roles, procedures, and communication plans that will enable an effective response when incidents occur. In the next few minutes, we will explore what effective preparation looks like and what the standard requires. Let us explore what A.5.24 requires organizations to put in place before security incidents occur, the policies, roles, and procedures that make an effective response possible. A.5.24 requires organizations to establish and maintain an incident management policy, defined roles, a classification scheme, escalation procedures, and a communication plan, all tested through exercises before they are needed. An incident management policy establishes the organization's commitment to structured incident response and defines the scope, principles, and governance of the incident management program. Supporting procedures should document the step-by-step actions to be taken during an incident, including how incidents are reported, how they are logged, what initial triage steps are taken, who is notified at each stage, and what evidence must be preserved. These procedures must be documented, approved, and accessible to everyone who has a role in incident response, not stored only in the security team's shared drive. Effective incident response depends on predefined roles with clear responsibilities. The incident manager is the individual responsible for coordinating the overall response to a declared security incident, making decisions, allocating resources, and maintaining situational awareness. The Computer Security Incident Response Team, or CERT, is the group of technical and non-technical responders who carry out the response activities. Roles should be assigned to named individuals with clearly defined deputies, so that the absence of a key person does not create a gap in response capability during a crisis. A classification scheme distinguishes between security events, any observable occurrence that may be relevant to security, and security incidents, events that have been assessed as causing or likely to cause harm. The scheme should also define the severity levels of incidents from minor to crisis, with clear criteria for each level based on impact, data sensitivity, business disruption, and regulatory implications. The classification drives the escalation response. A minor incident may be handled by the security team alone, while a crisis-level incident triggers board notification, regulatory reporting, and public communication. Communication failures during security incidents are as damaging as technical failures. Internal communication plans must define who is notified at each incident severity level, from the security team through to senior management and board level, and what information is shared at each stage. External communication plans must address customer notification, regulatory notification obligations under GDPR and other frameworks, law enforcement engagement, and media response. These plans should be tested through tabletop exercises at least annually, using realistic scenarios that challenge participants to make the decisions they would face in a real incident. 4 essential concepts that underpin effective implementation of Control A.5.24. A CERT's effectiveness depends on its composition, authority, and readiness. The team should include members with technical security expertise, legal and compliance knowledge, communication skills, and management authority. Team members must understand their individual responsibilities and have the tools and access they need to carry out response activities. For smaller organizations that cannot maintain a full CERT internally, retaining an external incident response provider and maintaining a clear activation process is an acceptable alternative, but the engagement must be established before an incident occurs, not during one. A well-designed classification scheme does 3 things. It provides consistent criteria so that different people classify the same event the same way. It connects incident severity to predefined response actions so that the appropriate level of resource is mobilized immediately, and it documents the threshold at which regulatory notification obligations are triggered. The scheme should be simple enough to apply quickly under pressure. A complex matrix that requires careful deliberation is not fit for purpose in the first minutes of a fast-moving incident. An escalation matrix removes ambiguity from one of the most consequential decisions in incident response: who needs to know and when. The matrix should specify notification obligations for each incident severity level, including the notification method, the time frame for notification, and the expected response from each notified party. For regulated organizations, the escalation matrix must also reflect regulatory notification requirements. For example, the 72-hour notification window under GDPR for personal data breaches. Tabletop exercises are the most cost-effective investment in incident response preparedness. By simulating realistic incident scenarios and walking participants through decision points, they reveal gaps in procedures, ambiguities in roles, communication failures, and technical limitations before those gaps cause real damage. Good exercises are challenging. They should include unexpected complications, time pressure, and decisions with significant consequences. Findings from exercises should be documented and tracked to resolution as formal improvement actions. Now let us explore the practical steps organizations should take to implement A.5.24 and build genuine incident management readiness. Implementing A.5.24 requires building and testing a complete incident management framework, policy, roles, classification, procedures, and communication plans before incidents occur. The incident management policy and procedures must be formally documented, approved by management, and communicated to all relevant personnel. Documentation should cover the full life cycle of incident management, from event detection and initial reporting through triage, containment, recovery, and post-incident review. Procedures should be written for clarity under pressure, step-by-step, jargon-free, and accessible to people who may be following them for the first time in a high-stress situation. Where possible, use checklists and decision trees rather than narrative text. CERT role assignment should be explicit and documented. Each role should have a primary assignee and at least one deputy to ensure coverage when the primary is unavailable. Role assignments should be reviewed at least annually and updated when there are personnel changes. New CERT members should receive role-specific training and should participate in tabletop exercises before they are relied upon in a real incident. Contact details for all CERT members, including out-of-hours contact methods, should be maintained in the incident response plan and kept current. The classification scheme should be developed collaboratively by the security team, legal, compliance, and business representatives, so that it reflects both technical security realities and business impact considerations. The scheme should be calibrated using realistic examples from the organization's industry and threat environment. Once developed, it should be communicated to all staff with incident reporting responsibilities, not just the security team, so that initial event classification is consistent from the point of first report. Annual testing of incident management plans through tabletop exercises is an A.5.24 requirement, not merely good practice. Exercises should use scenarios that are realistic for the organization's threat environment. Ransomware attacks, data breaches, phishing campaigns, and insider threats are all common choices. Each exercise should produce a formal report documenting what worked, what gaps were identified, and what improvement actions will be taken. These findings feed into the continuous improvement cycle of the ISMS. Let us consolidate the essential points from our exploration of Control A.5.24. If you want to master all 93 Annex A controls and implement ISO 27001-2022 successfully, our complete Udemy course covers every control in depth with practical implementation guidance. Enroll today using the link below. Thank you for watching. If you found this useful, please like and subscribe for more ISO 27001 control breakdowns. See you in the next video.